and welcome to Drinks and Discussions True Crime. I am your host, Tiffany, and this is my beautiful co-host, Autumn. And today we are going to be having a couple of drinks. Autumn, what are you drinking today?
So tonight I have my usual Tito's vodka, but this time I'm mixing it with Waterloo grape soda. Thought it'd be really good. I opened it. It smelled like grape. Drank it. It literally tastes like nothing. So
Waterloo is my favorite sparkling water because, I don't know, it just seems like the most flavorful one. And a true crime little side note here. John Wayne Gacy, he lived in a city called Waterloo. That's where he killed all those people.
now I will say I've drunk like the lemon lime ones and all that other stuff, and those are delicious. So I was expecting that for the grape, and then I opened it and I was like, oh, that actually smells like grape soda. And then I drank it and I was like, that has no flavor whatsoever. So basically I'm drinking soda water and vodka.
Yeah, it tastes like a grape farted in your water.
It does, yeah, exactly.
Drinking Shiner.
Oh,
And a koozie that says cheers. So cheers. I think you have this too from the wedding.
we got those at the wedding?
It says twist off, but oh, I got it. I'm weak, okay? So today we are going to be talking about Tyler Hadley. Tyler Hadley was a 17-year-old boy who lived in Florida. And I mean, he did some crazy things. So let's start off with his parents. So his parents were Mary Jo and Blake. His mom, Mary Jo, was an elementary school teacher, and his dad was an engineer. And they moved to Port St Lucie, Florida, because they were close to their retired parents. And they had a son named Ryan, their older child. And then 6 years later, they had a kid named Tyler. In this story, we're going to be talking about Tyler. He was born premature, and when he was a young child, he was his mother kind of saw like signs of depression, and he seemed like smaller than the other kids at school, which like kind of dug because he was born premature. And they had him put on like multiple different medications, and by the time he was 10 years old, he was on growth hormones, which that's like a steroids, Prozac, Lexapro, and some other medications. Now, the reason that I am telling y'all about that is because these medications, they have side effects that promote aggressive and violent behavior. And I'm not saying that's an excuse for why Tyler did what he did. But what I am saying is that it could have definitely promoted the violent behavior that occurred. But summer 2011 in Florida. Autumn, what do you know about a 17-year-old Tyler?
So 17-year-old Tyler, I don't want to say he was like most teenagers. I have a 17-year-old in my house. They are different. I remember when I was 17, I was getting into lots of things I shouldn't have been. That's for sure. But he was a little bit more excessive. He was prone to having outbursts at his school, just like random outbursts. He was in trouble for drugs and drinking. He had gotten arrested. His mother took the car away because he got arrested for driving drunk. He was not your typical 17-year-old boy. Like I said, there's a level of trouble you expect your kids to get into when they're 17, and then there's what Tyler was doing. So to find out what happened later, it's still shocking.
Yeah, definitely shocking. And I just wanted to harp on, you mentioned that he had gotten in a car accident. I think he actually took his dad's car and he hit a child.
So yeah, that's actually a separate incident. Yeah. He took his dad's car, hit a child. What?
No, I said, so it was multiple car accidents. Yeah.
I believe so. So the second time, it wasn't like an accident. It was just him getting pulled over and being drunk. But the first time, and they were still currently in a lawsuit with the children's parents because, yeah, he took his dad's car and hit a kid.
Yeah, he had also went to a national state park, set it on fire for fun. He got a warning for that one. Didn't get in trouble for that one, really, just like a slap on the wrist. But he did end up going to jail because he got into a fight with one of his good friends and totally just like beat him up. So I think that was like the beginning of his history of when somebody doesn't do something that he wants them to be doing, or when they tell him to do something that he doesn't want to do, he reacts in a violent way. So that was kind of the first sign to me that with this one, because like you said, 17-year-olds, like teenagers, they do scare the shit out of me. Like they're crazy, but it's still abnormal. Tyler wasn't really popular in school, I would say. Not like that he was unpopular, but he wasn't like the cool guy at school or anything. So when Tyler wrote on Facebook that he was going to have a party at his house, people were kind of like, are you? Like, we know how your parents are. Like, they're not going to allow that. Your mom's a school teacher, like, for Christ's sake. And he had wrote that around noon on his Facebook wall in summer. It was a beautiful summer day. It was like 84 degrees outside. And it was a pretty good day for like a party, right? His parents were out of town. I couldn't find where they were out of town at, but
he told people multiple different places. Some people he told them like they were in Orlando. Some he told them like Mississippi. Like he just randomly told people, like he'd like randomly pick spots and was like, oh yeah, my parents are here. Oh yeah, they're here. It's like
they were actually out of town at one point. They got home sometime between noon and like 4:30 p.m. I guess they got home. At that time, Tyler had already been planning this party for weeks. Like he had told his friends, like, we're gonna have this party. And everybody knew how he was gonna pull it off. I mean, his parents were absolutely like, no. So when he said, you know, my parents are out of town or whatever, and I to all these kids, they were on their way back. So they make it in town. And his mom is like checking on the computer, doing some work or whatever. No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying yeah.
Oh yeah, their computer was in their kitchen area by their dining room table. That is important for later. So she's sitting at the computer typing. His dad's taking a nap. His dog is chilling or whatever. He decides to put the dog in the closet, pop a few ecstasy pills, and go grab a claw hammer. Now, when I read claw hammer, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know what the hell that was, but it's a regular ass hammer.
The other end of the hammer.
The hammer that's like this part that you like pull nails out of the wall or whatever.
Yeah, that part.
Claw or whatever, right? Okay, so I learned something from the story. What a claw hammer is.
Oh,
but he took 3 ecstasy pills and he had this hammer and he sat there just watching his mom typing on the computer.
Yeah, he said that he stared at the back of her head for about 5 minutes, contemplating whether or not he could do it before he actually bashed her head in.
Yeah, so then he bashed her head with the claw side of the hammer. That's why I had to look up what that meant. Bashed her in the back of the head with the hammer. And she had time to tell him why, you know, like she's screaming for her life, like, oh my God, like what is going on? And it wakes her husband up and he runs in there. They like make eye contact for a minute. And he's probably thinking to himself, am I dreaming? Like, you know, those times when you like wake up and you're like, where am I for a moment?
It's like you have a bathroom dream where you think you're going to the bathroom. Don't act like you've ever had that dream.
I have before. And you're even like, you're like sitting on the toilet and you're suddenly.
You're like, wait a minute. I don't have wallpaper in my bathroom.
Right. So I was thinking that could have possibly been what was going on with his dad because, you know, you wake up to someone screaming, you run in there, you see your son killing his own mother, your wife.
Yep.
I would be totally shocked too and be like pinching myself, like, is this a dream? Like, what is going on?
This isn't happening. This isn't real.
Yeah. So what did Tyler do? Turned on his dad. And he obviously he killed his dad too. At that point, Tyler decided to clean up. Did you? I don't. We didn't share any pictures or anything, but did you happen to see like how well Tyler cleaned up? He cleaned up pretty much as well as a 17-year-old boy would.
Exactly. No, I saw the pictures. He basically took anything that he thought had blood on it and dumped it in his parents' bedroom. So, like the coffee table, random blankets. Literally, when you look at the crime scene pictures and how they found his parents, it's like the entire living room was just tossed in a bedroom and the door was shut. It's
With
like
trash and all like a mop and like all types. It looked like a hoarder house.
exactly.
You know, like a hoarder house, and you're like, oh my god, there's a mountain of things in here.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, I first saw the crime scene photos before I realized that, and I was like, were they hoarders? And then I was like, oh no, he literally took everything that might have possibly had blood and just dumped it all in a room and shut the door. Like you said, like how a 17-year-old boy would clean.
Yeah, and I mean he left like clear evidence out
Everywhere.
In
There was
the
blood on
driveway.
like there was still like blood in the driveway, blood on all the door casings. There was actually blood on the door handle to go into his parents' bedroom. Like
Yeah,
everywhere.
the computer that his mom was typing on and he like bashed her head in, the keyboard is still covered in blood. And like I said, it was in the dining room where the computer was. There was blood under the dining room table. Now he had taken, like you said, all the dining room chairs and thrown them on top of his parents in that bedroom. He wrapped a towel around their head. I think there's a possibility of two reasons why he did that. Number one, to dissociate from that he just killed his parents, and also hoping that he wouldn't get blood everywhere. That's my two guesses. That's not, I'm not a scientist, but that's my guesses. But after that, and I forgot to mention this. He had put the dog in the closet because he thought that their lab may have like tried to defend the parents.
Yeah, I read that too. So he purposely locked up the dog before he did all of this because he thought the exact same thing. Like, this dog is going to try to protect my parents if I do this. So I'm going to lock up the dog. We'll give him points for not harming the dog.
That's right. Well, we'll give him half a point. He also hid his parents' phones so they couldn't call for help, which they wouldn't have had a chance to call for help, honestly. But I will say, just y'all have seen my dog and Autumn's dog's like cameo in the videos. My dog would not protect me. She wouldn't. She would be like, and probably go run under the bed. Would your dog do anything? I'm just wondering.
So there's been times where like there's random noises, like if Joe's out of town or something. There are times like if Joe's not home and there's random noises outside the front door, like I want to say it was like last week. So we have one of those keypad locks, so you can hear it beeping from inside the house, and it starts beeping. Sounds like someone's trying to open the door. Joe's not home. Kinsey takes off. She's barking and growling. But the two big dogs that could really do some damage, oh no, they still stayed in bed. They actually looked at me like, so you want us to get up? I mean, we don't have to, but...
Well, his was a lab, and those are kind of like known to be friendly dogs. So I don't know. I think it's nice of him not to bring the dog into the mix. But anyway, that was a side note. After he did all of this, he stole his parents' credit cards. He went and he bought all this stuff for the party. And at like 5:30 or whatever it was later that evening, he posted on Facebook again and had said, hey, the party's starting or whatever. And so people actually said, maybe he really is having a party. So around 60 people arrived. That was the first like kind of bunch of people that came, because at least 100 people eventually came, maybe even more. When the people were actually at the party, some people were like, it's kind of weird in here. Kind of sounds like death,
All that.
Yeah. Did you see, excuse me, I have like a tickle in my throat. Did you see that they were playing beer pong? And the ball rolled under the dining table?
Oh, no.
Yes. So the ball rolled under the dining table, and it got stuck in some sticky brown liquid.
Oh,
the kids, picks up the ball, and he's kind of grossed out, but he's like, he wipes it on
Beer
his
dog.
and he throws it back into someone's drink. They're playing with a bloody ball. That was so shocking to
I
me.
did not see that.
Oh my God. So even kids had seen like the blood all over the keyboard and they were like, maybe it's a Coke. A Coke is not the same consistency as blood.
No.
Whatever.
17-year-olds.
17-year-olds, yeah. And they're like totally destroying shit. Like they do not care because they do not like Tyler. They do not know Tyler. Most of the people who are there actually did not know him.
It's a house party.
Yeah, but they were like eating up all the food, breaking mirrors, breaking chairs. Tyler's like, fuck it, you know?
So at first, like, people were smoking in the house, and he was like, no, you can't smoke in here. And then, like, as the night progresses, it's like he remembers, and he's like, nah, you can do whatever you want. This is my house now. Like,
yeah, parents don't live here. This is my house.
This is my house. Which is funny because eventually one of his friends he actually confides in, and he's like, bro, you see my parents' cars are out here. Big shocker. They aren't out of town. They're dead in the bedroom. And the friend's like, so funny. And like proceeds to party with him for like 4 more hours, taking selfies and everything before he actually goes to check the master bedroom. And he's like, oh, there's a dead body.
Like the hoarder, like I told you, it's like a hoarder room. He like opens the door. He has to like shove the door open.
Stuff open.
Sees a leg. That's all he had to see. And he said, holy shit, you really did kill your parents. The guy that you're talking about, his name was Michael Mandel. They had been best friends since they were 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I want to say I saw the selfies and Michael doesn't look like happy and joyous in the selfie. Maybe he really was like, well, this is the last time I'm ever going to see you again, buddy. And he takes a selfie. I don't know.
After he told me, I didn't believe him because he's been my best friend forever. I would never suspect anything like this. And I was looking around. He told me if I look at enough, I could see signs. I looked on the floor. I could see signs of blood. And that's when I went around back and looked in his parents' bedroom. I saw bloody sheets piled everywhere. I saw broken pictures with blood on them. And I looked down and I saw his dad. After I found his parents, I knew it was going to be the last time I seen him. This is that look on his face. You could see the horror in his face. That's not normal, Tyler.
They're 17 years old. They do dumb shit.
They do.
And I will say, and I don't know if you knew this, but Michael, God rest his soul, he is the one who turned Tyler into the police eventually after the party. But he actually took his own life in July of this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very sad. So I obviously I don't know why someone does something like that, but to think of what he's been through, I mean, I can't help but to think that it had some kind of, not that it was because of that, but that may have had something to do with it in the long line of things. You know what I'm saying?
Your friend's parents basically laying dead on their bedroom floor and you've been partying in the same house the entire night. Like, yeah, that might be a little bit.
They were friends since they were 8 years old, so I'm sure he knew Tyler's parents well, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But Tyler's mother, she had her own depression and things like that. But besides that, their whole lives were like intended to make sure that their children had the best life possible. And the reason that they had Tyler go to all these doctors and get on medication and get checked out or whatever is because they wanted him to have like a good life or whatever. So it's honestly shocking that he would do that to his parents, but they had wanted him, because he was on drugs, they had wanted him to go to a rehab facility right before all of this happened. And it makes me, and other people, I'm not the only one who thinks this, but it makes people believe that that was a motive, because like I had mentioned, he beat up his friend basically because they had a disagreement.
Yeah.
So violence was his answer to things when he didn't get his way. So when his parents said, Tyler, you're doing drugs and you're committing arson and you're going to jail for battery and you're doing all this crazy stuff. I think you need to go to rehab because you have a drug problem. You've been taking ecstasy and smoking pot and doing all this stuff. Which, when the police came in, I thought it was funny. They had said that they had found a lot of tobacco in the home.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, really?
Yeah. There was there was tobacco in the home because they were probably smoking weed.
You know what they do? Not that I'm saying that you know specifically, but it's like, so I used to work at a nightclub. What they used to do is they would take their Black and Milds or their cigarillos and they would empty out what was inside and then restuff it up with weed. There we go. Now you have a whole bunch of tobacco in them.
We'll find any way to take their little devil's lettuce, you know? But but so Michael, he did the next morning. The police did not come that night, but let me say that his walk with Michael happened at like 1:00 in the morning. So Michael called the police around 4:00, and then the police. Well, wait. He called the police around 5:00 in the morning. I'm sorry, I don't know how to add. It was 4 hours later, right?
Yeah.
So the police then came and arrested Tyler the next morning.
So if they didn't like initially arrest him, they came and did a welfare check on the parents. And Tyler goes, well, I'm technically a minor and my parents aren't home, so you can't search the property. That's what he told them. And they were like, well,
he was very talkative. He was very talkative.
Yeah, they said he was very talkative, like he was looking every which way. He was still high on ecstasy, let's be real. But then somehow they finally get in the house and they didn't say that they forced open the bedroom door.
It was an emergency entrance because of the behavior and the parents call and everything, yeah.
And the officer said that he was able to turn the handle hard enough to where the door opened. I was like, okay, so you forced your way inside past that lock. But yeah, that's literally what happened. And then they found, they thought the same thing as his friends did, that they, this room is like clearly a hoarder's paradise, which is when they saw the father. And they're like, oh crap, there's a dead body in here. Okay, now you're going to jail. Yeah,
so they did find the father, but it took them some time to find his mother because they had to move all of the debris. And like, I hope we have a picture that we can inset for that room because the debris it's crazy. There's broken chairs, there's papers, there's like, now Tyler had said he put everything that reminded him of his parents on top of them. But I think it's what you said immediately. I was like, no, you went and got everything that had blood on it. You threw it in that room. But you didn't do a very good job because you left blood everywhere.
I'm looking at the picture right now, and there's like a random calendar, a People's Magazine, whole bunch of chairs. There's clearly the bed, but then there's like wrapping paper in between the bed. Like, it's insane. Like, no, you literally just threw a bunch of stuff in there that you thought had blood on.
I've got to get rid of this before the people come over for the party and just throw it in the room.
Exactly. Like you said, how a 17-year-old would claim. And how sometimes I will not lie, sometimes how I will claim before I know people are coming over, like, oh crap, I gotta get rid of this.
I have a rule, and I told you. The rule is, instead of just not doing something, you're better off just half-assing it. It's better than not doing it completely. So like that day when I had the inspector come and I hadn't come with dishes, there was like 10 dishes left. And I was like, oh, I just stuck the dishes in the dishwasher. And our dishwasher, it does not work. So I was just like, put them in there just to hide them. It's better. It's half-assing is better. I did do them. Like, I did them.
Eventually.
For the moment, it was better to just half-ass it and then just move on with my life. So yeah, sometimes you only have so many spoons to do half the job, then just do half the job. It's better than just not doing it all.
Exactly. So another half a point for actually trying. Okay. Still pretty dark, but
I was gonna say, I don't know about that half a point.
Real laziness would have been calling it a Halloween party and just like leaving everything everywhere.
Halloween in July.
Oh my July, y'all. Party at my house.
Coming to a Halloween party at your house.
That is true laziness right there.
What chaotic evil? That's so
Hey,
crazy.
Tyler, these bodies look awfully lifelike. Oh, I know. Spirit
See,
Halloween, y'all.
that one looks like Joe. Oh my god! But anyway, it's not funny, but the Halloween
Not,
party is funny.
not the concept's funny.
So the act of committing murder against your parents is called parricide. It has a name, and it's not. It's actually not uncommon. I think that it's pretty common for someone to, like, the last week we talked about familicide, where they killed their whole family, but they also killed their parents in one of the stories we talked about last week. And I honestly don't really like to do stories about children. He was 17, and I feel like in our state, he would have been tried as an adult.
He would have been tried as an adult and gotten the life sentence. Actually, he would have gotten this fucking chair.
He would have gotten it, yeah. And I honestly, you know how I am. I am a supporter of the death penalty, and if you're not, I totally respect that. And I just, just go ahead and make sure you always vote for your opinion. I vote for mine. But and I do think that it's a tragedy that he is, I guess that he was tried as a child instead of an adult, because he was 17 years old. He knew what he was doing. It's chaos to me. But he did get 2 life sentences. Then he made an appeal.
My dog has also made an appearance again. She's shaking.
No. My dog is at the door trying to open it. But
trying to hop on the bed. That's why I was like, you know what, just get up on the bed and let's get this over with. Please lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right. Now
he
we're good.
Appeal in court, and they had changed the law, and they had to re-sentence him, and then he was sentenced again to life in prison. But my opinion actually changed when I heard an interview from him with a psychologist or a psychiatrist or whatever it is. Because initially I thought, oh my gosh, like, this guy, he's crazy. He should totally be put to death. But that's to bring up at the beginning the medications that he was taking, because when he was taken off of those medications and he was doing this interview with this medical professional, he was very remorseful, and he said in the interview that he did not like himself, and he just really never has. And it almost makes me feel like when you give drugs like that to a child whose brain is not fully developed, especially a child who has like feelings like he does of depression and not belonging and things like that, that I think that can have a real major effect on people like that.
Oh my God. Sorry. She's like right by the thing. Stop. Okay. Now we're good.
I'm just kidding. Put her in a closet. No.
So I actually want to challenge that, because he gave himself a nickname in jail.
Oh, yeah.
He was signing autographs for people, first of all, once he went in. And then he gave himself a nickname, and his nickname was Hammer Time.
And he was signing autographs for people saying it was Hammer Time.
Yes.
Oh, I know. I did read about that.
Like,
but then
I don't see any remorse.
And he did that, like how long he had been in prison when he did that. But he obviously probably was trying to make a little name for himself in prison. You know how kids be doing stupid things, especially when they get a little fame from it inside those concrete celled walls. I don't know. I could never say what he was thinking. But yeah, it was pretty fucked up that he did that. He was signing "It's Hammer Time" on, yeah. And he told himself Hammer Boy, Hammer Time. Yeah, that doesn't really help the case, does it?
It's super messed up. I'm not gonna lie, but when I saw that, I was like, okay, pretty clever. Considering you were only 17, like, you don't know who MC Hammer is. Like, come on.
Especially in 2011.
Actually, no, that was like 10 years ago. Oof.
In 2011, I was 21. Uh,
Wait, how old am I? I was 20 in 2011.
well, I mean, I was at 20 at one time. My birthday. This was in July. But I don't know. Tyler, basically, he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life in Florida.
Yeah, as you should be.
And I feel bad for Michael and his family. And I never found out what happened to Tyler's dog. I was very interested in that.
I was wondering the same thing. Whatever happened to the dog?
I always want to know what happened to the dog. If there's a movie and like people are being like killed or tortured or whatever, I'm not saying I'm okay with it, but like I can watch that. But like I've never seen the butterfly effect because I watched a dog was a movie with a dog. I hope that his dog is okay. I hope his brother Ryan is okay. Are you looking up to see what happened to the dog?
Yes, I'm trying to find out what happened to the dog.
Yeah, I feel bad for his brother Ryan. His brother Ryan was at college when all this happened. And several people had mentioned that Ryan may have been kind of put on the back burner when Tyler was born. I don't know.
Oh, never mind. That's Tyler the dog and Swamp People. Okay. So I Googled what happened to Tyler Hadley's dog, and it just said congestive heart failure. And it said Tyler took the dog to the vet, and he was hunting alligators at the time. And I was like, wait, what? Never mind.
That didn't happen, right?
No. That was a different Tyler. Tyler the dog is apparently in Swamp People, and that's what...
That black guy, Tyler Hadley, was an actor, right?
Yeah.
His name was Michael. It was Michael, whatever.
Yeah, but his dog's name was Tyler.
And okay. I was thinking of another person who had this. I kept getting confusing results when I was looking up the story. What's his name? Michael Mandel. There was a black man who was an actor named Michael Mandel who also passed away. So it was pretty hard for me to find out any information about him passing away.
Yeah, no, it was kind of hard to look this up too, because just like me looking up what happened to Tyler Hadley's dog, and I get Tyler the dog from Swamp People.
I wish I would find out what happened. I mean, I'm sure the dog is not alive now because it's been 11 years, and I'm assuming it was an adult at the time.
Yeah. I'm sure his brother probably took him or something. Let's hope so. Or an aunt or uncle or...
Well, in my mind, I'm just going to say that the dog, he went on to be the president of Dogland, and he lived a long and fulfilling life, being a civil rights activist for Labrador retrievers everywhere.
I was about to call him Doggle Trump, but...
Doggle Trump?
Doggle Trump! He's president of Doggyland.
Oh, my God.
What type was it a yellow lab? Doggle Trump.
Doggle Trump. Well, it was Badog Obama. But anyway, well, that's all I got.
Obama. That's even worse. Stop.
Kinsey.
Yeah, you know it's Kinsey. Kinsey, shut up.
All that I've got about Tyler and his evil murder of his wonderful parents. So,
yeah.
Hopefully we have something that's not about killing your parents, because it makes me begin to worry.
It's mine this time. Oh, see, now they're leaving.
But Autumn, thank you so much for joining me from your home, even though I have sniffles and together. And we will see you all next Saturday around 7 or 8 or whenever we get the video uploaded, and we'll have something really crazy for you. Actually, I was thinking about doing let's not talk about it now. Let's talk about it in the promo. We'll post a promo. We didn't post one this week, but we'll post one next week about what we're going to be talking about. So, what am I talking about?
No, what are you thinking?
I'm going to blink it to you in Morse code. I'll tell you later.
This is why I love you.
But all right. Well, everybody have a wonderful, safe weekend. I hope you didn't gain 5 pounds from all that candy. But we will see you next weekend.
Yep. Bye, guys.